wasn't able to make a video yesterday. Very, very busy. I was in work most of the day, and then when I got home, obviously, I had to get stuff sorted. But I was following the transfer window all yesterday. I was watching the boys over at Hammer's Chat. I was, watching Nicky live on West Ham Fan TV. I was popping up in Jake's chat as well. On West Ham Unofficial. The whole day was just an absolute travesty, as the title of this video is, the transfer travesty, or should I say tragedy even as well. When I did the picture, see no evil, hear no evil, talk no evil, there's a famous Jose Mourinho line, is it, if I speak, I'm in trouble. I am so deflated after yesterday. I'm so disappointed in the lack of ambition and the lack of planning. Gonzo used a good word today, naivety, and just, I don't know, there's a lack of respect and a lack of urgency, a lack of wanting to, achieve some more. I'm just so, God knows what people like Jarrod Bowen and Declan Rice are thinking today. You're looking at, arguably, we're two of our best seasons in the Premier League ever. And a real chance, of achieving, challenging, maybe not achieving, but challenging top four this season. Again, after such a positive season last year. Weaknesses have already been seen. With the injuries to Ogbonna, and when Zuma got injured as well, and the out of form of Antonio, and the inevitability that at some point this season he is going to be out with an injury unless we get incredibly lucky. Just a lack of options off the bench. There's loads of things that surely Moyes. I'm not going to sit here and think Moyes is that dumb or naive to not see that there's a lack of depth and a lack of options and a lack of and I wouldn't say a lack of a chance, to put ourselves in a position to make ourselves better. The constant rhetoric about Antonio for the last few windows, summer window and this winter window now, is we want to bring someone in as backup to Antonio. That's it should never be the case. That it should be that whoever's coming in is better than Antonio, and Antonio has to work his way in. Anyone you bring in should be, trying to improve your first team. Gio said it on Twitter yesterday, okay, we might have been able to sit, and I might have bought the argument that we can't get anyone that can improve our first team at the moment. But are you telling me there is no one out there that improves on Yarmolenko, improves on Masuaku, and gives us better options on the bench for those European nights that are coming up? It's not long. I believe it's about 50 days or so. Might be slightly less, slightly longer. When we're in those tight games in Europe or those tight games in the league that are going to come up, to be able to have someone to come on that can change the game. Yes, Ben Rama's coming back. Yes, Suma's back. It's great. And our first 11, when it's fully fit, yes, I can admit they probably will challenge anyone out there. But we needed players to freshen it up. Tottenham bought some players in, some really good players they've bought in. Everton, they've bought in Dele Alli, they've bought in Donny van der Beek, some good signings just to freshen the place up a bit. Aston Villa bought some in as well. We've seen Newcastle. Yes, they've got more money than us, and yes, they're fighting for their life, but they've bought some players in as well. It seems as if the owners have basically just sat there. I had this conversation in work, and I've seen it come up on Twitter as well, and I've seen it, come up on TalkSport as well. It's as if, a club like our own, West Ham, have basically sat there and gone, we ain't getting relegated this season. We're on 38 points, 2 points, 40 points, magic number. And they've gone, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. What's the point of gambling? And then we don't do it. And, it's just that attitude of like, we're just going to sit there. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And I know Gonzo said it, and I know Nicky said it, and I know loads of people have said it in the West Ham, YouTube community, that, you can see us just dropping off now. If we go to the Europa League, go to the FA Cup, it's going to turn absolutely toxic over there. I could be proved wrong. Like I say, Bowen, Rice, Benrahma, Fornals, and whoever else plays, Lanzini, etc., Antonio, on their day, Souček, etc., Cresswell coming back, Zuma, on their day, we can beat anyone if they all stay fit. One injury to Zuma again, and one injury to Antonio or Bowen, etc., one of them ones, and you may as well write it all off. I know these are all hypotheticals, but there's, it's very unlikely, and it's very, I don't think I've ever seen West Ham go through the back end of a season without getting some major injury that just causes havoc and causes problems. And as has been pointed out, that Zuma now, because we didn't bring in Kaleta yesterday, Zuma's now going to have to be the left-sided centre-back. Ogbonna's not going to be back this season. And we've seen that although Zuma is still, in the Man United game, he's still dominant, he's still strong, he's still athletic. Playing on that left-hand side, he has to take that extra touch to free it from his feet so he can release it on the right-hand side. Kaleta, if any of you guys have seen the YouTube videos of him, he's a right-footed centre-back that plays on the left-hand side. But you can watch the videos, guys. After this video, go and type in Kaleta. He can ping a ball with his left foot very comfortably. He's very comfortably left foot and right foot. And it would have made sense to have got him in. Now it's just, I don't know. Like I said, what does this say to Declan Rice? For me, that was the biggest disappointment yesterday. That at least if we would have gone and got in an Origi, a Kaleta or Phillips that ended up at Bournemouth, we could have gone to Declan. Look, we've tried. We really genuinely tried, and that's not just a David Sullivan. We tried. We did genuinely try and get someone in, and we've just fell short. Now that argument of just fell short is our own fault. It's their fault. They've not brought players in, and we're just. Yeah, I'm just so deflated. I'm so deflated. I will go into the comments, guys. Just bear with me a few minutes. And then let's just talk about the transfer strategy in general. We've had since August, we've had since January last year when Hollah went to look for a striker. And then on the last day, you bid for, listen, fantastic player, this guy, that Darwin. But it's never going to happen on that last day. It's never going to happen. This guy is like real sought after player. The bids for Rafinha, the bids for Philip are all bluster and, just, oh, look, we did have money. We were bidding £50 million. Yet that's never going to get him out of the club. Rafinha, I believe, has a £60 million price tag. And if you're talking Calvin Phillips, if you're valuing Declan Rice at 120 million, then in theory, the starting price for someone like Calvin Phillips is 65 to 70 million, purely again because of those England caps. The Lingard thing was never going to be a starter. We know that. They was never going to sell him to us because we're seeing this competition. They've ramped that out now. I think the fact that the Mason Greenwood incident has happened as well, he may get some minutes now as well between now and the end of the season. Obviously, Martial went as well. It's just lack of planning, lack of integrity. This Rob Newman guy, he's meant to be, the recruitment guy, the negotiator. Is he not talking to players and talking to agents, feeding it out, feeding these situations out to see, are you keen to join? Are the club definitely going to, sort this out? We gambled and it hasn't paid off. And I'm telling you now, if we start to slide, and teams like Wolves are doing really, really well, I expect Aston Villa now to have a really good end to the season. Tottenham bought them a couple of two players in. They've got some games in hand. The only club that I think comparable to us in terms of transfer window is Arsenal. Arsenal have had an absolute shocker of a window, and it's as if they've sort of accepted it as well. They let Aubameyang go, who's arguably toxic and poisoning the club. But they didn't bring no one in. They missed out on Vlahovic, went to Juventus. So they're the only sort of fans we can sort of compare to. But they will go again. In the summer, they will go again. They will get a striker in. They will get a player in. There's so many players that are going to leave West Ham potentially in the summer. Fredericks potentially will go. Krau, maybe Areola. Mark Noble's retiring. Yarmolenko, Masuaku. Is Ogbonna going to come back anywhere near the level of fitness? Good chance Declan Rice will go in the summer as well. Good chance that Bowen may follow him out the window door as well. And then you're looking at 9, 10 players. Have we got 9 or 10 players money to spend? I don't know. And that's the problem. And is this, and again, I've seen the other chat. I've seen Gonzo. I watched Gonzo's video on the train when I was coming home. Is that 50 million that we didn't spend, is that going to go over to the summer and then there's 150 million or 200 million pound to spend? I can't see it. And I do believe that a fee has been agreed with the club. We know a fee has been agreed with the club between Kwiatkowski and David Sullivan. And I think David Sullivan has just sat there and gone, nah, I ain't spending no more money. And that's why my fear is that Declan Rice will go this summer as well, because of that reason. He just wants to milk as much out of the club as he can without spending much money. We're not going to go down, so there isn't that fear of going down. There's still a European run, and David Sullivan probably thinks, actually, you know, that'll probably keep the West Ham fans quiet. I'm telling you now, it can turn really, really toxic very, very quickly, as we know. I hope it doesn't. Listen, I hope we win every game to the end of the season. We win the Europa League, and it's like, oh, shut up. I've got it right. Can't see it, though. I can't see it. Guys, I'm going to go into the comments because there is a few of you there. Thank you so much for commenting along. And I'm sorry that I didn't react yesterday. I didn't have time. And I thought leave it a day and I might actually calm down, but I really, really haven't. Glenn Marshall says it just shows that we are still the old West Ham. It was a perfect opportunity to have 3 quality players to push until the end of the season. I agree, mate. And I'm really, really fearing now having 2 mediocre seasons, you know, because usually we have 1 and 5 bad. We've had 2 good. We'll probably have 4 or 5 bad now. But again, this is just, sorry, I'm putting my finger over the lens there. Hi, Luke. So depressing that no signings have been brought in. Not just the board, but Moyes needs to take the blame as well. We need a new striker and a business heads would roll. We could have got better off the bench if we couldn't get top players. The board are ready to sell Rice for as much as they can, then walk. I agree with you, Gaz. The consequences of no signings could be the end of West Ham as a top 6 side. I only see us sliding down the table now, sadly, as a broken man. Yeah, and the problem is, mate, if Newcastle stay up, they're going to take one of them top 6 places. Their owners are proving they're going to spend some money. Terrible as this is, may not come a time. Yeah, many years, mate. Like I say, Newcastle are going to take that place. I expect Aston Villa to be a good side next year. I expect Everton to improve next year. You only get 1 or 2 of these opportunities at a time, and we've blown it again. Like I've said, Ron Newman and Moyes are meant to be controlling transfers. We brought in Newman, so Sullivan would step aside back from the transfers. Let's hope we don't lose any players to injuries now, but I can't see it. So surely we need to point the finger at Moyes and Newman. Too tight to pay 13 million. That's obviously for Kletekar. Even though so-called 50 million deals for Rafinha were cobblers. We can't keep saying we tried. We want to break in the top 6. We need to say we did. Apparently, yeah, we made a bid for Zapata as well, really late. I would hate to think what's going to go. Yeah, I agree, mate. The summer window. Apparently, we were really close to signing Zapata in Atlanta, but the deal fell through. Questwell and Oggy are aging, as is Antonio. I agree, mate. Moyes looking for perfect strikers. That's what's wrong. We need 10 players this coming window. So many of our fans seem to be the sort who would opt for short-term mediocrity rather than trying to get players who actually improve us and build for the future. Short-term thinking, definitely so. See, the point with that, Joe, is you say, you know, people would be happy with mediocrity, but we've been waiting, you know, a couple of summers there. Oh, the right player wasn't there. Moyes wants to save the money. You only get an opportunity. You're only as good as your last season. West Ham, at the moment, it's gone now. In January, we're an attractive proposition. We're a top 5 side at the moment. We're in the last 16 Europa League and still in the FA Cup. That's your opportunity where you go and get your players. Once the season's over, and we don't get Europe potentially, and I would take the Mickey Mouse one, the Conference League, if all else fails. You know, if you're not in that, all of a sudden again, you haven't got that character dangle at someone and go, oh, we've got European football. Would you like to come and play for us? And then, you know, you're looking at Declan Rice, who's had that taste of European football now and wants to go and play in the Champions League. You have to keep up with the pack. You can't stand still. If you stand still, you go backwards. And the problem is now, by standing still, there's a good chance that Declan Rice will 100% leave in the summer, in my opinion. And then someone like Jarrod Bowen can follow him out the door. That's your two best players gone. And then, you're restarting again. And the problem is, you sell Declan Rice for 130 million, 120 million. Every single club knows you've got 100 and 120 million pound. You try getting a player in, any player you want. A 20 million pound player is all of a sudden going to be costing you 40 million because they know how much money you've got. I'm so deflated and so I can't take these excuses anymore of, short-term fix, da-da-da-da-da. I agree. You need good players and you need the right players. But come on, a year and a half and you've not identified a striker. We have been flirting with Coletta Carr for a long time. That was the first summer of Moyes. Just spend the bloody money. You were going to spend £50 million, apparently, on Rafinha or Calvin Phillips. That is how you know they had no intention of spending any money. They knew that those bids were going to get rejected, and that is why they bid that money for like the Darwins, for the Zapetas. God forbid those bids were accepted. David Sullivan would have absolutely crapped himself. He would have gone, do I actually have to write a cheque for 50 million? And that's why he would not have wrote the cheque for 13 or 15 million, whatever it was, for Coletta Carr, because he knew it would get accepted. He don't want bids accepted. He wants to say there and go, oh, they were playing games with a loan fee. They rejected a £50 million bid. He knows that rhetoric sits well with the press, but it doesn't sit well with the fans anymore. My only other concern as well is Kretinsky. And obviously, he's got credit in the bank. He's not done anything wrong yet. My issue is, and I said this to Paul before the window started, I expected us to sign some players because I didn't think Kretinsky would, it wouldn't look good for him to come in and no players come in, because then it sort of sits like, is this just, evil replacing evil, right? Basically, GSB going, this guy comes in, another one who's not going to spend money. How much control, how much say he's got over transfers at the moment, I don't know. But that didn't sit well with me. It's like you would think Kretinsky would want to look like a shining light and sign some players, but clearly that hasn't happened. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for those who have joined me. If you're watching this back on a replay, please comment along, let me know what you think. As I say, very, very deflated. It took my positivity away. I was very, very positive about West Ham this season, but I just can see it all going wrong at the minute. I hope I'm wrong, and I really want to be proven wrong. If I'm proven wrong, that means West Ham has had a fantastic season, and that's what I want. That's what I want. But the West Ham man in me, the realist in me, the, dreams fade and die, fortune's always hiding, it's written in a mantra, is saying that this is a really, really bad, really, really good opportunity that we've missed. And yeah, I'm going to leave you with that, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, potentially, or Thursday, with a couple of minutes to preview. Until next time, guys, keep believing if you can, because we've got to hope and pray that team stays fit and there's no injuries, and we can just, Antonio and people like that can find their form, and we can just, go for a purple patch to the end of the season. Until next time, guys, come on, you irons, keep believing. Please hit that subscribe button. Let's go.